You're such an asshole.
Alright, now we're recording. So this is a lengthy one. We have Chad Elkins of Elkins CPA assisting.
Yo!
Dear Cappy, please quote me a price on the following. For over 1,500 years, Europe was known as Christendom, and as such, people were educated in the Catholic virtues. I will list some of these virtues and a short definition. Thank God, because I'm not Catholic, and I didn't know what they were. I would like you to comment on them, particularly how millennials are not following them, and what impact this has had on their individual lives, and also on society as a whole. Alright, so, how they're not following them, how it's impacting their lives, and how it impacts society as a whole. I'll answer now, not to cheat out of it, but it'll inevitably affect society as a whole because the millennials are going to be part of society. They're going to raise the next generation. Inevitably, the baby boomers and Gen X are going to die off. So the millennials will be in charge in about 10 to 20 years, they'll be in charge.
Well, that's a comforting thought.
Our Social Security checks are guaranteed. We're going to have... We'll get checks. There won't be anything to buy in the grocery stores because we'll have Venezuela. But they knew better than us because their hippy-dippy professor who never worked a day in his life told them socialism works. All right, there are the 4 cardinal virtues. 1, prudence. Aligning yourself with reality. A person who goes into debt to get a worthless degree is not prudent. A single girl who gets knocked up by a bad boy is not prudent. All right, if prudence means align yourself with reality, I've talked about this with the reality principle, which is more of a logic, where the closer you are to the target, the more effective your decisions are going to be. And so, as you point out here, if you majored something worthwhile, you will make more money. If you get knocked up by 3 different guys for 4 different children, you are completely hosed. Or, I would say even nowadays, particularly paying attention towards millennial women, because they're older now. They're not in their 20s no more. They're in their 30s now. Most of the millennials are in their 30s. And these women are starting to realize that feminist bullshit. You want to talk about, it's a target. It's reality. Do you want to hit it on the head, or do you want to be lied to and miss it by a mile? And all the lies that we told women about, well, you got to do careerism, and you could do whatever you want, money will follow, and you don't need a man. And all of a sudden they're starting to find out, like, for 2 million years, girls have kind of liked guys, and maybe they did want to have kids, and that, maybe there was a division of labor where one person would stay home and the other would go and work, and maybe there was some efficiencies and economies to scale that back. So yeah, that what we're talking about is what I call the reality principle. How the millennials are not following them. The millennials are not following prudence or the reality principle because they believe in indoctrination. They just took whatever their professors and teachers and guidance counselors told them and just took it for truth. And what irks me is even when they're failing now in the real world, when they put that into practice and they're not getting the results, who do they blame?
Men?
And Republicans.
Oh.
and males and patriarchy, or what? They'll blame anything but, I made a dumbass mistake majoring in political science. So the fact they'll never, it's not apologize or wake up, they'll never go back to reality. They want to keep believing, they'll double down. So how does that affect society? Well, economic growth slows down because you're not making economic decisions. They have a ton of debt, both federal, state, local, commercial, a little bit less commercial, but definitely household debt has been going up because you still want to maintain your consumption as if you're an engineer, but you don't want to actually work as hard as an engineer. You don't make as much money as an engineer, but you want those standards of living, so you'll borrow money and live in your McMansion. So yeah, that's prudence. That's how they are failing, and that's how society is consequently affected. Fortitude, continuing on the face of adversity. A whiner and excuse maker lacks fortitude. A metrosexual hipster lacks fortitude. I wouldn't necessarily say that. Just because you're a hipster or metrosexual means you lack fortitude.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Continuing on that face of adversity, I say where this more appropriately applies is the millennials. Again, he wants to pertain to millennials. Is how they, instead of just work, well, we had that one guy in India. I don't know if you heard him on the podcast, where he had $20,000 in student loans. Instead of working an extra job and facing that adversity, you know what he did?
Did he kill himself?
No, he moved. Well, I wish he did, but no, he moved to India.
Okay. Oh, yeah, do you remember
Yeah.
this now? Wasn't his name Chad or something?
Chad, yeah, his name was Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know those assholes named Chad.
Yeah, those
No,
fuckers.
those guys, don't start me about those.
Ugh.
But that's not a big student loan debt. Like, he basically ruined his U.S. citizenship
For $20,000.
$20,000.
Do you know how many people would pay, like, triple that or more just to be a U.S. citizen?
Yeah. Well, no, and so yeah, that I can honestly say, we'll see how Gen Z comes along, but the millennials are by far the most pampered generation.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a drug so you feel better. I mean, no, don't work out, don't die, and no, here's your safe room. I mean, the concept of a safe room is still like, that doesn't exist. It's like Donald Trump. He's really not the president because it's so fantastic and weird to believe. I can't believe something fantastic, not in a good sense, but just an odd statistical sense. Like, I can't believe safe rooms exist.
Safe rooms.
Yeah, I can't. Well, there are safe rooms, but are comfort rooms or whatever. The millennials have been defined by their lack of adversity and the lack of challenge in life. I mean, you could see it in the men's arms, like the fact that Gen Zers are like more masculine. Heck, the fact that their grandfathers have more grip strength and testosterone than the frickin' the Try Guys. Remember the Try Guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys have not faced adversity. I'm not to pick on the client, but your generation has not faced adversity. And Weiner makes an excuse for Fortitude. Yeah, you'll never succeed. All life is pushing back the bad shit that happens, and then you die. That's all it is. And if you just let it happen to you, well, then you're going to have a really crappy life living at home. You'll be poor. Or you'll run off to India and marry a hideous-looking woman. Justice. Providing what is owed. If a plumber agrees to be at your house at 9 a.m. and shows up 45 minutes late, this is an offense against justice. If Hillary Clinton does not get prosecuted, this is a withholding of justice. If a bank fails to do its fiduciary duty and loses a bunch of money, this is an offense against justice. I can't say this is purely millennials, because the baby boomers and Gen Xers are squarely to blame for the housing bubble. The millennials have not yet taken over the institutions of power. So this everyone is pretty guilty of. I would say if he wants, because again he requested pertains to millennials, I'd say the biggest social or financial contract millennials have with the rest of society is their student loans. They signed on the dotted line, I will pay the taxpayer back, I will pay the lender back, and now he's like, I want to be bailed out. So that's not justice. I don't think the millennials are criminal, because that takes effort and risk. Have to actually go and stiff arm rob somebody, but yeah, I'd say the one egregious violation in terms of justice would be that they basically lied, and especially with the unemployment rate at 3.8%. Like, you guys can't find a fucking job and start willing, I think, 1/5 of the student loan. Let's find out.
Well, they won't work a job that they feel is beneath them.
Every job's beneath them, but that's in their mind. But no job is beneath them because none of them have skills. Percent student loans in default. I should look up delinquent. Holy shit. Oh, wait. 40% of student loan borrowers expected to default by 2023. That's disgusting. That is just disgusting. It says 22% currently in default. They expect it to go up to 40. That's default. That's not even delinquency. That's just like you're not even making any payments. How's that going to affect society? Well, negatively. Do you guys remember the housing crisis? Do you remember that? When your dad actually had to go work a real job, your mom had to start sucking dick because she couldn't make enough money with her women's studies degree, and that way you could keep going to your precious little school back when you were in grade school and high school. That's what you guys will do. You're going to do it to yourselves. I mean, if you don't pay back these student loans, it could have a financial cost and consequence. It could spill over into the larger economy. It's not as... what's the word I'm looking for? Not liquid, but fast. It's like if someone doesn't pay back their housing or pay their mortgage, that immediately affects the financial markets because there are mortgage-backed securities in the financial markets, whereas this is guaranteed by the taxpayers, so it's going to slowly seep in. But it's definitely going to... You do have economic opportunity, but you don't have great economic opportunity. There are jobs going for want out there, but they're not the $60,000 a year jobs you guys think you're entitled to. You're not going to choose them. And so there will continue to not be the high-paying jobs out there that'll ever give you a chance to actually pay off these student unless you start whittling down your student loans.
And then they can't build their skill sets to eventually get these jobs.
What skill set? They never wanted a skill set. Temperance, moderation in the consumption of things. Girls incessantly texting on their phone. Oh, good. I didn't think about the social media. Or walking around staring at their phone are lacking in temperance. Overuse of video games is also an example. Yeah, porn. I guess the millennials don't drink as much. They're having less sex. If anything, I wish the millennials had a little less temperance. I know social media is the one vice, you could call it, but they're not having sex. I don't think they drink. I don't think they do a lot of drugs. They're very boring, actually. Video games and porn, I would say, yeah.
I think they're just on the internet in general.
Yeah, the social life is, yeah, they're not, okay, they do go in insulting amounts of people, numbers, to brew pubs.
Oh, yeah.
That's. I don't think that's going to cause the economy to collapse, but I don't need another brew pub opening up down the road. I don't. We're just another American bar with American eats and our home brew. Shut up. This, even though it's not a hard vice or anything like that, I will say their consumption of social media and porn. It's the attention versus sex. Like, guys are getting a substitute for sex through porn. Women are getting a substitute for attention through social media.
Yeah.
And they're not meeting in the real world.
Right.
I don't know if it's necessarily a dire consequence, but fewer and fewer people are getting married, fewer and fewer people are having kids. But I would say women's expectations of men is completely delusional. Like, what they're, and I'd have to look at flake rates again. This is where I gotta talk to TJ Martinell or even you.
Dude,
do you even date girls that are under 30?
I've
or is
tried
it pointless?
No, I've tried it a couple times. Yeah, the flake rate is there. You can tell that they're not really the ones that you do get to meet with.
Yeah.
You look at them and they're not really all there, if that makes sense. Like, their mind is elsewhere. They're already.
Are they on their phones? Do they dare bring their phones on a date and look at it?
They don't. So I'll give them credit. I think they know enough not to do that. But you can just tell. It's hard to explain. The vibe is just like their mind is thinking about all the other people on these dating apps, and it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's not pretty.
No. Yeah, that definitely has sapped it out. And you millennials better realize the most important thing in other life are people. And digital thing is not other people. That's a representation of somebody 2,000 miles. I always told this. I don't know if you had this when you were in high school, but middle school and high school, there'd always, you'd have an interest in Susie Q.
Yeah.
And then Susie Q would say, I have a boyfriend in Venezuela. Like they always had some boyfriend in some far-flung place where it's like, how the fuck does that work? You don't have a driver's license. What? No, we call it. So I was going to say text. It was like, we call each other, because it was expensive international. So we call each other once a month, and we mail each other every week. It's like, it's not a fucking relationship. That was like the precursor.
It's pen pal, yeah.
It's pen pal, right. And that's what, and I guess maybe that was prophetic. Mm-hmm. Where there was a significant, not significant, but it was not uncommon, where I have a boyfriend in the United Kingdom. You're like, oh.
You know what's sad, Aaron, is that I actually had to read my friend, who's mid-30s, the riot act about this, because he was talking about some girl he's been seeing from Belarus who he hasn't met yet. I'm like, dude, no, I won't even entertain this discussion.
I was watching something on TV, unfortunately, and Roosh sent it out. It was a video of this fat, large blonde woman flew out to
90 Day Fiancé. Yeah,
was that okay?
That was the show.
Flew out to Nigeria to meet some black guy, and he saw her, and she was just blah blah blah, just running off the tarmac, and he kept wiping off his mouth as she kissed him. But it was just so weird, where they had never met, and they're kind of pawing over each other, like, oh my god, what are you? And I was just like, it's just creepy as fuck. What?
TV is pretty bad, but I will say, just as junk food for your mind, that show is really funny because there's so much of that, because it's people trying to use guys trying to use women to
get into the United
to get green cards. Yeah.
Okay, and
So
the women think...
The women think, and they're usually just post-wall disgusting hippos, and they think the guys actually love them for who they are, and you see a lot of that.
Whew. Yeah. Where were we about this? Yeah. So temperance. Yeah, I don't see a lot of vice or much going on in the millennial generation, except for that social media, which you could all cut down. You could all go hang out in the real world. Be social. All right, then he has derivative values. So there's 3 more values here. Again, I'm sure there's a biblical or Catholic meaning to this. Humility derived from prudence, being honest with yourself and admitting fault to others where appropriate. No need to air dirty laundry. A person who makes mistakes and lies about it lacks humility. People who are humble are able to learn from these mistakes. On all male work crews, the tradition of hazing the greenhorn is done to teach him humility, so he won't be afraid to ask questions and learn. Yeah, I don't think the millennials are capable of humility. They've never been humbled in their lives.
Right.
They've always been told they're great. They've always been winners.
Special snowflakes.
Yeah. This is, and that, it's kind of like an autoimmune disorder or disease where your immune system can't recognize the virus or whatever is attacking the body, so it doesn't attack it, or it views the body as the enemy and it attacks the actual body. Yeah, I don't think the millennials, I mean, after 30 years of constantly having your dick sucked by society, I think you're beyond learning that you goofed up, you screwed up, or you were lied to. I'll grant them that they weren't led correctly. But I don't see any, every once in a while we'll get someone here at Asshole Consulting, though, that, I screwed up, I majored in this, or I goofed this up and I got out. So it's obviously not every millennial is like that. But as a generation, I've never seen such a more delusional generation in terms of here's reality, here's where you got, and you have no desire to salvage the remaining 2/3. I mean, their youth is gone. Their youth is gone. They have no more youth left. So now it's middle age and old age, and they don't want to even salvage that. They just really want to believe that they're great because they came out of some woman's vagina, and that's it. Hey, I'm here. I did it. I think the sadly, what most millennials can point to as an accomplishment on their own is that they didn't get aborted. That's their number one achievement in life is they didn't do anything else except get past that finish line. And so I don't think most of them are capable of humility. Diligence derived from fortitude. Oh, so it derives from these other virtues. Diligence derived from fortitude, doing things immediately, not putting things off. Chad Elkins mentions you right here. Chad Elkins wishes more of his clients had diligence. Yes.
Very much so. I've got a lot of millennial clients.
Are they worse? Are they really any worse though than Gen Xers or?
No, not really. Some of them really have their stuff together and they're good. I have to do. You've heard me rant about this. I have to do a lot of hand holding, but that's generally everybody. I can't really knock the millennials for that.
No, because I've lived in my own generation and my number one complaints are not. It's across the board. I think just being an American in general, having everything handed to you.
Well, I blame smartphones. I guess they just think getting their taxes done is now like pressing a button. And
I just think everybody's a procrastinator. No one has any hustle. I'll even be doubly harsh on people who are conservative or libertarian or are not millennials just because it's you should know better. Why in fuck's name is it taking you this long to get this shit done?
Yeah.
And that's across the board. So I can't even fault the millennials for it. Diligence derived from doing things immediately. I would say about the only thing you could point to the millennials is once again how you guys are postponing and kicking the can down the road, not paying off your student loan. I mean, unless your goal is to die not paying them off, okay, cool, that's a strategy, but you're forever going to have, it's going to affect your credit score, that's going to affect your employability. And you say, they don't look at those. It's no. If I ever have to hire someone and they have student loans that are 15 years old and you've done jack all, fuck all shit to pay them off, I'm not hiring you. Because it testifies that you don't face your problems down. Magnanimity. Magnanimity.
Like being magnanimous?
Like being
forgiving? Or?
I guess he'll tell us here. Derived from fortitude, believing in great things and doing them. A confidence about life. Like fortitude, the opposite is the whiner and the excuse maker, a magnanimous man, realizes that wonderful gift that life is and wants to live. Planning and doing a cross-country motorcycle ride is an example of a magnanimous act. Starting and completing a project is a magnanimous act. I can't fault the millennials because I look at most people and they suck. This is probably my number one complaint against humanity of all people, where, hey, come on out, Dad. Oh, no. I can't, what? It's like 8 o'clock. I can't go to, oh, no, I'd like to go do X, Y, and Z. I can't.
It's like, visit me. No, I can't.
Well, I understand, here's the real world incarnation of this problem that he talks about. And this, again, I won't fault millennials for this. Although that generation has done nothing. It's the we can't all be like you, Clary. It's like, fuck you, you choose not to be like me. You choose to sit on your ass, you choose not to go run, you choose not to adventure, you choose not to engage. Everybody just sits on their fucking ass, and that is but again, I can't fault the millennials because that's across the board. Like, getting my old man to come out to Vegas. It's cold here. Yeah, why don't you come to Vegas? Oh, well, like, no. And you know how they're not magnanimous? Is when they don't utter words as their excuse. It sounds. Well, no, no, I don't know, because you didn't say what? You don't want to fly? You don't like fun? You're too tired? And
that's actually a really good pro tip for. I'm going to look out for that in the future.
What's that, when people don't use words?
Yeah, so if I'm trying to get somebody to do something, or if I want to hang out or whatever, and they're like,
Yeah, I would also, again, I can't, much as I like to pick on millennials, I can't, because I've lived my generation. I know what losers they are.
Yeah, Gen X.
Gen X is just so emo-y and pathetic. But I will say women, though, in general, also like this but this is their nature, where, you'll ask a girl, hey, let's go do something fun. Let's do something magnanimous. And the girl will be, well, I'm busy. They will always find a reason to say no.
Right,
They will always find a reason to say no. But again, that's regardless of generation. I think that's just, and it's regardless. It's not like they're doing it maliciously. I think women are just more, they're risk averse than men, and kind of like, well, I don't. Hey, let's go. How about you and I go on a date? Something awesome might derive from that.
Let me see what other options I have in my dating apps.
Let me look at my phone.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve, the investment banker in L.A., who's 10,000 miles away, says that I have nice boobies. Ah, Steve.
Being in great and doing great things. I think that's just most humans are sheep. They're not going to achieve great things. That's why they're great. So few people do them. It's I think what that also derives from is people do not realize they're finite and they're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
They think like, oh, I'll do this and I'll do that, and then it's like, no, you got to pack this in now. Let's get it done now. And I don't see them doing it. So I can't really get too harsh on the millennials, especially with these derivative values, because every other generation has failed. The last time any generation approached this would be the World War II generation or the silent generation. But yeah, every generation, baby boomer on, has failed these. I think the millennials have just kind of... And it's so sad when the only thing you can point to the millennials, like their effect on society, has been the amount of money they borrowed in student loans. And there's no other effect. It's like, there's no other effect. Like, at least the baby boomers had an effect with music and fashion, even if it was bad.
Yeah.
At least it was that. The millennials have student loan debt, and then, we came up with some brew pubs. Like, good for you guys. All right. And then beards. Like, all right, that's great. It will be...
Even, so Zuckerberg wasn't even a millennial, right?
I think he is.
Is he a millennial? Thought he was maybe in his...
Mark Zuckerberg.
He might be borderline Gen X there. Because I think he's like 36 or 37.
He's 34. No,
he's 34?
Yeah, he's a millennial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a millennial.
Yeah.
Like him and the... I mean, yeah, you're going to have an IT geek, and... out of 100 million people, there are going to be some geniuses and some people that do produce. And
He's only 5'7". Huh.
yep, he's only 5'7". He's one of us.
Cool.
He's just like us. He's also worth $51.2 billion.
Oh,
just
so he is like us.
He's
Yeah.
just like us. Yeah.
That's why we can afford to do this.
Maybe we should let him into the club. You think you should let him join our club?
Yeah. He'd fit in well with his beliefs.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I know he wanted to be a screed against the millennials, but I just can't. Some of it does apply, but a lot of it is. A lot of this is just human sin. I mean, look. Let's put it this way: the Catholics didn't derive these values and virtues in a vacuum. They looked at, okay, society's not advancing. Why? And they just knocked it out. So humans have been guilty of this shit forever, and it really is what separates the successful from the failures, the weak from the strong, the I'd even say the content. I don't necessarily believe in happiness, but the content from the miserable is how much it's basically, do you capitalize on life and live in the real world? And boy, God almighty, you could say the vast majority of humans don't do that. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'm going to upload this, put it on the blog, because I'm writing a piece. My pieces are getting really long now.
Mm-hmm. I noticed.
Their thought. I don't do the short little. I mean, I'll do like a link, but they take a day or two to write. I'm kind of get procrastinating, but see, procrastinating right there.
Yep.
I only did a couple videos today for Asshole Consulting, and started a fire, and worked. Never mind, I didn't procrastinate today.
Yeah, I woke up like 3 hours ago.
What did I do? Talking about procrastination, what did I do? By the time you woke up, what had I achieved?
Everything except the videos.
Except for the videos, right.
Because you were waiting for me.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Doodles.